Oh my gosh, bro.
Essa cobra. Olha só, abre os braços aí, João. Olha só o tamanho dessa cobra, meu.
A relaxing day of fishing can instantly turn into a desperate fight for survival on the open water. Whether you're forced to jump ship to dodge a speeding boat, or stalked by a shadowy vessel while deep sea fishing, when danger approaches without warning, will you stay calm enough to escape or panic? The disturbing footage shows the moment when a fisherman and two other people on a small boat were suddenly forced to jump into the water as another boat rushed directly toward them at an alarming speed.
Hey! Hey! Oh my God! Hey! 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 Oh my God!
The situation unfolded in seconds, leaving almost no time to react. What began as a normal moment on the water quickly turned into a dangerous escape. If you were in that position, would you have reacted quickly enough to jump before it was too late? On May 1st, 2024, the Coastal Worldwide Channel documented a frightening fishing encounter on a Florida shoreline at Navarre Beach, Florida. Two fishing rods were placed with large bait, and the simple plan was to wait through the night. Around 8 o'clock in the morning, one of the rods suddenly came alive. The line began pulling out smoothly, heavy, and steady. It was a clear sign that whatever had taken the bait was not an ordinary fish. A few minutes later, the creature beneath the water suddenly launched out of the surface. It turned into an encounter with a large shark.
4, 3, 2, 1. Have fun, boy. Line's going shooting straight. Back. Come on, baby. That's what we came out here for. Oh! He just jumped! He just jumped! He just jumped! Did we do it?
A drone was sent into the air, and the outline of the enormous shark appeared near the sandbar. It kept changing direction, but continued pulling the line with constant strength.
Yeah, that's a monster, dude. That's not just a white shark. It's... Look at this thing. Look at this thing. It's a big bull. Look at that thing. Oh my gosh, dude. That's a freaking monster.
Holy crap.
That's a monster, dude.
The distance between the shark and the shore slowly became smaller. As the animal moved closer, everyone reduced their actions to a minimum. No one attempted to drag it onto the beach. The goal now was simply to keep the shark strong enough to return to the ocean.
Right here, close. We just can't. I don't want his weight, like full weight. I mean, we couldn't bring him up on the beach if we wanted to. I can't see the drone. But is the drone still going to the inside of the camp?
No, it's way to the east now.
In the shallow water, the shark's body became easier to see. Large, old scars covered its back and sides, clear marks of past encounters. Nothing needed to be said, but it was obvious this animal had survived many harsh confrontations.
Go ahead and bump the drag down!
The hook was removed quickly and carefully. Without hesitation, the shark regained its balance, whipped its tail, and swam away. Within seconds, it disappeared beneath the surface.
Oh my gosh, bro.
The fishing trip ended quietly. There was no catch and no celebration. Only a chilling encounter remained, where the people stepped back and allowed the apex predator to return to its own ocean. Moments like this show how powerful the ocean's wildlife truly is, and sometimes the safest choice is simply to let nature continue on its own path. If you faced a creature like that in shallow water, would you try to hold on, or let it go and step back? On May 29, 2014, Robert Diggle and his sailing crew departed near Santorini, expecting moderate winds and clear skies. But instead, they encountered a terrifying situation that would push them to their absolute limits. The forecast had mentioned windy conditions that day, yet nothing close to what was actually approaching. As they moved along the coast, the weather rapidly worsened and developed into a powerful storm, with winds reaching 70 knots, hurricane strength.
That's it. I think it would be a good measure to put the vest on, just in case.
To make matters worse, their roller furling system had already been malfunctioning for several days, preventing them from properly controlling the sails at the moment they needed control the most.
Tangled.
As the storm intensified, the crew struggled to handle the tangled rigging. Then disaster struck when the sail tore completely. Even with the damage, the crew kept moving forward, fighting their way toward the protection of the nearby island.
Okay, the sail's ripped, that's good. That's better. That's good. Oh.
Eventually, they reached the lee side of the island, where the landmass blocked the strongest winds. Throughout the crisis, the captain maintained radio contact, reporting their position to nearby vessels.
Pan. Do you speak English? Pan, both spetses. I'll say it again. Sierra, Papa, Echo, Tango. North 36 29 06. East 25. Well done, Captain. I didn't see a scary look on your face. You did? Did not. Not at all. Yeah, exactly. Now we're up against the shore, so we're outside of the wind now, so everything's much better. This is good now. This is the best it'll ever be. Yes, because we're behind the island now. This island is protecting us.
But we should not leave this island.
No, once we get out in the sea again, it'll be back to what it was before. So it was lucky, but it ripped, eh?
But I think that it's good that they broke, but
Yeah.
they make
Now we return to normal.
The entire event was captured on camera, creating powerful documentation of how quickly conditions at sea can shift from routine to life-threatening. Despite equipment failures and torn sails, the crew's experience and quick decisions allowed everyone on board to come through safely. Robert described the moment as clear proof of nature's raw power and a reminder that the sea always demands respect. If you were far from shore when the weather turned like that, would preparation be enough? Or would survival come down to instinct? On February 25, 2021, the Anderson Goodies channel recorded what appeared to be a normal fishing trip. But it soon became the most unforgettable moment they had ever experienced on that road. A father and son had caught a few small fish and decided to continue traveling deeper into the wilderness. The dusty red road stretched ahead in an uneasy silence.
Galera, ó. Oi.
Eu acho que ele foi igual seu pai, hein?
Por quê?
Porque você tá agindo igual ele.
Sério? Vamos lá.
Por isso que eu tô aqui, ué.
É, você gosta de pescar com o pai? Segura mais embaixo na vara, pra não ficar arrastando no chão. Tá vendo? Eu sempre levo na frente, só que um pouco alto, pra não bater a ponta no chão. Cuidado que tem algumas pedras.
Tantas pedras no caminho não seria ruim.
Mas nós... É a música do engenheiro que você tá lembrando? Tantas pedras no caminho não seria ruim.
From a distance, the two noticed a large object lying across the roadside. Not immediately sure what it was, the son stopped and watched carefully while keeping his distance. As they slowly moved closer, its shape became clearer. It was a massive anaconda. Its body stretched several meters across the ground, its belly swollen and its body almost completely still. They remained far away, trying to estimate its size by comparing arm span, footsteps, and stride. They refused to move any closer.
Vai.
Pai, vamos procurar a cabeça da cobra.
Oi? Olha o tamanho da cobra. Vai ali na frente que eu vou te filmar. Rápido, pode filmar. Vai lá. Só pra gente mostrar pra turma. Essa cobra. Olha só, abre os braços aí, João. Olha só o tamanho dessa cobra. Meu Deus do céu. É muito grande. É muito grande mesmo. Caramba, olha só o tamanho dessa cobra. Acho que ela comeu alguma coisa, ó. Caramba, olha o tamanho dessa sucuri, cara. Eu vou medir os passos. Olha o tamanho da cabeça dela. Só pra vocês terem uma ideia. Olha o tamanho da cabeça da cobra, ó. Vou colocar minha mão aqui, ó. Olha o tamanho da barriga da bicha. Olha o meu chinelo aqui, eu calço 41, ó. Rapaz do céu, vamos contar quantos passos tem essa cobra. Vamos ver aqui, ó. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 passos compridos. Olha só o tamanho dessa cobra. É muito grande.
The snake did not react at all, but its enormous size and complete silence were enough to make the father and son stop fishing for the day. Neither of them attempted to touch it or move it. They simply took photos and then left the area. Soon the road became quiet again, and the trip continued as usual. But the feeling of what they had just encountered did not fade quickly. Sometimes, nature places something unexpected directly in the path ahead. Moments like this remind people how powerful and unpredictable wildlife can be. If you suddenly found a snake that large blocking the road in front of you, would curiosity make you stay, or would instinct tell you to leave? While fishing with lures in the remote wilderness of Alaska, he suddenly turned around and realized that a massive grizzly bear was running downstream directly toward him. The encounter happened without warning, leaving him completely unprepared for what was approaching. With no weapon or protection, he had nothing but his fishing rod and the open ground behind him.
It's right there, it's fine. Guys, come on this side over here. Go that way. Good bear, he's going around it. Good bear.
I think he's coming back down.
He's gonna go around. Hey, bud.
The enormous animal continued moving along the river, and the situation unfolded in seconds. A peaceful moment in nature can turn into something unpredictable. In places where humans are only visitors, wildlife always holds the advantage. If you suddenly realized a grizzly bear was closing the distance behind you in the wilderness, would you stay calm or panic before finding a way out? In early 2024, a crew of cruising Kiwis were sailing through the remote waters off northern Brazil when a fishing boat appeared on the horizon and began moving directly toward them.
This boat's been from a long way out on the horizon when we first saw it. It's been tracking right on collision course for the last 10-15 minutes. It's getting closer and closer. I don't like it actually, I really don't like it. It just doesn't feel right. I don't know what it is.
At first it seemed like any other vessel passing nearby, but the situation soon felt different. This did not appear to be a routine encounter. The crew had recently heard about an attack in Lynn's Choice where a similar-looking fishing vessel had approached and targeted a boat anchored in the area.
9 knots.
Yeah, 8-9 knots.
We're going quicker, yeah.
Work with the Pesca, are you sure?
Oh, I feel they've got the wood on them slightly, you know. They've just turned to starboard slightly, and as a result, they're moving back on the horizon ever so slightly. Ever so slightly. Oh, they've just straightened up again. No, they've veered away again, okay. I don't know what the heck, it's very odd. We don't know what their intention is. We've tried to call them on VHF radio. We've had no response at all. It has held, it's maintained its course, getting closer and closer to us. Actually, they've just done a turn to starboard. Wouldn't you believe it? Now they're going to track behind us. They have just this second. Maybe they follow our YouTube channel and are seeing that we've gone live. That is crazy. Okay, they're going back to port again. Wow. Okay, that is a little bit unnerving. You can hear the engines now. Yeah, no, they're coming back on course to us again.
I can see guys on board.
Yep. Chloe, do you want to get some flares handy?
Oh yeah,
Are they rocket flares though? Yeah, they're rockets.
these guys are definitely in pursuit of us.
I think they're slower.
Yeah, I think we're just slightly faster, aren't we? Why would they want to pursue us? We've got a reef in the main. I wish we had the full main. The sun is close to setting. We're very anxious about it though. We feel, always conscious that, well, this could be something to be worried about, but we've always gone, oh no, that's all right. These guys, mate, they have definitely, what the friggin' Nora, they've got a little sail up too. Does anyone know what this boat is?
This fishing vessel is looking pretty light on fishing gear. Usually when you see them, they have nets and flags and buoys all setting up the back of the boat. You know, the fishing boats usually have all the fishing gear at the back of the boat.
Yeah, no fishing gear at all.
These guys have nothing.
We seem to be faster. As long as the wind don't drop out, they can't catch us, hopefully. They're certainly following us, following our every move. Right behind us now.
They are hot in pursuit. They're going flat out.
I was just saying that what if they follow us until the wind drops?
Yeah, that's the thing, the wind could drop tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, they're turning. Oh, they're turning. Rob has got a rope here. What you got that rope there for, Rob?
To wrap around the prop is a bit close to us. Once it wraps around the prop, coming free, then we just start it.
No, they're still pursuing us, eh? Yeah, okay, they're on their way. Yes. Yep, they're turning away. They could easily come back, yeah. I'm sure there's nothing to worry about, but given what happened several days ago.
As the boat moved closer, the crew could hear its engines and noticed figures on board watching them. The vessel kept its course and continued closing the distance. The crew attempted to contact the boat on VHF radio, but no reply ever came. The fishing vessel changed direction several times, yet continued matching their movements. The situation quickly became unsettling, as it appeared the boat was deliberately following them. As the sun began to set, the crew grew increasingly uneasy. The fishing boat also seemed unusually light, with no visible fishing equipment. Normally, vessels like this carried nets, flags, and buoys along the stern, but this one had none. The boat remained directly behind them, following their course. As long as the wind held, the sailing vessel appeared slightly faster, but the fishing boat stayed in pursuit, as if waiting for conditions to change. If the wind dropped, the situation could quickly become dangerous. The tension on board continued to rise until finally, after more than 40 minutes of relentless tracking, the boat began to fall back. The crew made a critical decision to run dark, switching off all navigation lights to avoid revealing their position. Through the night, they maintained their course while carefully monitoring the other vessel. Only after reaching French Guiana and showing photos of the boat to local fishermen did they learn how close they had come to danger. The fishermen warned them the vessel was believed to be pirates connected to smuggling and contraband operations. Luckily, the sailors crossed the border into France without any additional problems. The experience became a powerful reminder that although many encounters at sea are friendly, traveling through remote waters always requires caution, preparation, and awareness. If you were alone in open water and another boat began silently following you, would you know when it was curiosity or something far more serious? In December 1927, the SS Kamloops battled its way through a brutal winter storm on Lake Superior. Temperatures had dropped to nearly 40 degrees below zero. What the crew could not have known was that the voyage would leave behind a chilling legacy that would still be discussed generations later. The small package freighter was rushing to complete one final journey before the shipping season closed. During the trip, the vessel vanished into swirling curtains of ice and snow near Isle Royale. From that moment on, no one would see the ship above the surface again for nearly 50 years. The Kamloops remained untouched on the bottom of Lake Superior until 1977, when Minnesota divers Ken Engelbrecht and Randy Salter made a discovery that would soon turn the wreck into a legend among divers. They located the vessel in late August. One of the first questions that came to mind was why the lifeboat had never been used. Scattered luggage and abandoned clothing suggested that both passengers and crew had almost no time to react before the disaster unfolded. As the divers explored deeper sections of the wreck, they encountered more and more debris filling the corridors, making it difficult to move from one room to another. Some believed the wreckage indicated a violent sinking, while others argued that the debris could simply be the natural result of decades of decay beneath the water. It was also possible that the ship had been torn apart either by heavy ice or by the violent storm itself. On September 5th and 6th, Engelbrecht captured the first photographs clearly showing the name Kamloops on the rust-covered stern. But the most disturbing discovery waited inside the ship. The divers found what would later be known as Old Whitey, believed to be the ship's engineer TW variety. Because of a rare post-mortem process called adipocare, the freezing waters of Lake Superior preserved the body like a natural freezer. Soft tissue still clung to the bones, leaving the corpse with pale, ghost-like skin that remained eerily intact. Old Whitey was not resting on the floor of the engine room. The body remained upright. According to roughly 50 divers who have visited the wreck since then, Old Whitey does not remain in a single location. The shifting currents of Lake Superior slowly move the preserved body through different areas of the ship, sometimes appearing in new locations during later dives. Some divers even claim that the body seems to follow them through the wreck. Whether this is simply the movement of water or something harder to explain, the site left a lasting impression. Over time, a strange tradition developed among members of the diving community. Some began calling it a rite of passage to descend to the Kamloops and shake Old Whitey's hand. physically touching the preserved remains of a man who died in a terrifying disaster half a century earlier. Today, the Kamloops still lies where it sank, a frozen tomb resting in the darkness of Lake Superior. Old Whitey is said to remain within the engine room, drifting quietly through the silent corridors as new divers continue to descend in search of their own rite of passage. Sometimes the lake simply preserves history in ways that feel almost unreal. But if the currents can slowly move a body through the wreck over time, what else might still be shifting in the dark waters below? That's all for tonight's video. Which encounter gave you chills? Let us know in the comments below. Got your own experience? We want to hear it. And whatever you do, don't miss what's coming next.